13 Reasons Why.
Netflix series 13 Reasons Why.
Hannah Baker's infamous tapes transferred from Jay Asher's novel to tablets and TV screens alike, with Netflix's release of 13 Reasons Why. Instantly, the show gained popularity with young adults, but equally ignited concern among parents, schools, and mental health professionals. The first season follows the novel by depicting teenager Clay Jensen as he tries to find the reason why his classmate Hannah Baker has ended her own life. When Clay is gifted a set of tapes, he discovers that these are Hannah's self-recorded notes of the 13 reasons why she decided to commit suicide. Season 1 included remarkable acting performance and quotable lines, but with the heavy nature of the complicated topics, the marketing to viewers around high school age, and with star Selena Gomez attached to produce, many had hoped Netflix would craft the show to be equally informative and safe for young adults to watch. But quickly after the debut, many argued that the show was not only unsafe for young adults to watch, but that it also posed the risk of copycat injuries and death. Such concern was derived from several intense scenes, including an on-camera sexual assault, but most notably, the bathtub scene. In the final episode of Season 1, the show concludes by Clay detailing Hannah's last moments on Earth. She passes away in a bathtub, but every moment leading to her death was filmed and put on screen. The scene was incredibly graphic and unsettling, with only a vague warning card at the start of the episode to notify the viewer of what they were about to see. Outraged mental health professionals expressed that the act of viewing Hannah's self-harm can lead to repeated actions in real life, and cases started to appear in the US that reflected this fear. Following the release, the Journal of the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry found a striking 28.9% increase in self-induced deaths among 10 to 17-year-old young adults. Though there is no direct causation linked from the show to these deaths, the correlation is strong enough to warrant large levels of concern. This concern sparked a hysteria not only within parents, but within schools and institutions. Warnings about the show were issued to students, and guides to accompany each episode were made abundant. Nevertheless, the views fueled Netflix to make a second season despite Jay Asher's novel being a standalone story. Season 2 debuted in May of 2018 with an increase of viewers from Season 1. Since the book was a standalone novel, Netflix created their own interpretation to the events that happen after Hannah Baker. Picking up almost immediately after Season 1, Season 2 dramatizes the court case filed by Hannah's parents, citing the high school as the reason for their daughter's death. Simultaneously, strange Polaroid pictures start haunting the campus and Clay as more secrets are revealed. Most of the season follows the same pattern from Season 1, including even more infamous disturbing scenes. Netflix doubled down on their depictions of sexual abuse and put on screen a gruesome assault of the character Tyler Down by Montgomery de la Cruz. This scene reignited the campaign against the show, but a few voices, including the actor portraying Tyler, Devin Druid, commended Netflix for bringing to light these difficult topics and representing survivors. Yet, the show continued, and in the last episode of the season, Tyler attempts a school shooting in an act of revenge for his abuse. Tyler's plan is terminated by a persuasive speech from Clay, a completely unrealistic and frightening precedent to show young adults. In order to address the inaccuracies of the show, Netflix created a post-season interview with key members of the cast and a few mental health professionals called Beyond the Reasons. This post-season 30-minute wrap-up of the topics addressed on the show was a way for Netflix to address the concerns without adding it to their main content. Beyond the Reasons failed to soothe the outcries, so in 2019, Netflix made the announcement that they would remove a scene from the series that was causing the distress, the bathtub scene from Season 1. Many vocalized their disdain for Netflix's lack of ambition to remove the scene, as it took Netflix 2 years to process the decision. Despite Season 2 concluding Hannah's story, Netflix green lit another season. Pulling a 180, Season 3 becomes a mystery, solving the murder of one of the most hated characters of the show, Bryce Walker. Yet instead of this murder being an act of justice for Bryce's victims, the show finds a way to humanize Bryce and his teammate Monty before he dies. This, paired with the introduction of a Netflix original character, sank the views 13 Reasons Why heavily relied on. Even with the sour ratings and lack of sensationalism, Netflix pushed for a fourth and final season of the show in 2020, with this season leaning on psychological horror. Pushing the mental barriers of Clay's mind, the fourth season explores a strange universe where the dead are constantly haunting Clay, trying to get him to admit the true murderer of Bryce. By the end of the season, everything magically resolves, but not without taking another life of another character. In the final episode, beloved character Justin Foley dies from HIV, leaving fans absolutely enraged. Justin's character had become a fan favorite, with his remarkable character development and brotherhood with Clay, and fans felt robbed of his character when the show killed him. After Justin passes, Clay is elected to give a speech at his class's graduation, in which he summarizes all the deaths that have occurred over the course of the show. But this speech only continued to highlight Netflix's mistakes, as Clay acknowledges the misguided revitalization of the characters Bryce and Monty.
In the past 2 years, 3 people who I loved have died, and two other people who I thought I hated also died. Jessica's right. Hate is easy. Love and understanding are harder. They are how we take care of each other.
And with that, 13 Reasons Why came to a crashing close. The show will forever live in infamy, a kaleidoscope of equally interesting and destructive pieces that created a force of conversation for both mental health and sexual abuse.